Q107 is Toronto's rock station, home to the best rock music on earth, and the Daily Derringer Podcast.
Well, I gave you two guys a couple of choices as far as what you'd like to do on today's podcast, and it seems to be unanimous, so we're going to go with it. The two choices were, do we read and intellectually dissect the Fauci emails, or do we talk about places to go in Ontario this summer with our families? Very important that we add with our families here. And you guys both chose to not go the Fauci route.
Yeah, the Fauci thing, I'm done. I'm done with COVID and Fauci. And I don't want to, I read them all yesterday to my children.
Yeah. Tonight at bedtime, we're going to read page 726 of the Fauci emails.
Yeah, that's right. In this email, he responds to the labor leader in China about masks.
Oh, kids, tonight we got a good one. We got a note back from his orthodontist. We'll read that, just as you cuddle in.
The intellectual conversation is what threw me off. I'm like, I'm not doing that. No. I'd rather talk about things in Ontario.
Okay, so here's the important part of this, because I know when they put together lists like this, somebody does it in earnest, and they spend their time thinking of and researching great places to go in Ontario in a summer that, as we know, is going to have some restrictions. So many of these are natural or outdoors or places that you could enjoy and maybe get away from COVID a little bit. But here's the important part when we discuss this, my friends. It is all in the context of not you and whether you would want to go to any of these places, but whether your family would be in any way interested.
Interesting, okay.
Like we mentioned one on the radio show today, and that was go see a lighthouse. Like, I can't begin to tell you how little interest I would get from my children if I told them we were going to see a lighthouse. Zero chance of that being a successful mission.
Like, I think that I'd be scared that I get out of the car and they don't, and then they drive away without me. Mm-hmm. And I'm left at a lighthouse by myself with no car.
Okay, so do you mind if I just for a second go back to what we talked about a few days ago, our Agawa Canyon train trip, which was 100% my idea, okay? The high point of this trip is a trestle that you go over. And it's, I don't know, a couple 100 feet off the ground over this canyon. And it is spectacular. Like, and I was selling this thing the whole drive to Sault Ste. Marie. Like, you're not going to believe this is one of the most beautiful natural places I've ever seen in pictures. Can't wait to see it. I'm going to say it took 3 minutes to cross the trestle on this train we were on. My children looked out the window for a total maybe 8 seconds.
Yikes.
Maybe.
So not even 3 seconds each kid?
Not even. No, that's why I took it below 9. No, they looked at me, yeah, whatever. Like, and I believe there were actually some whatevers.
Yeah.
At that point, they were so angry with me, they refused to enjoy it. You know what it's like when you got a family and your kids are pinning something on you because it was your idea, like the Kingston Penn tour. And then all of a sudden you realize that there's nothing you can do to get them back. They are just gone in that moment.
And you were
sorry, go ahead, John.
Sorry, with the anticipation of going over the trestle and seeing the kids' reaction, did it hurt the old man a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Johnny, you swallow the pain, buddy.
Sure.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
It also kind of hurts as a father is that you're not even willing to fake it for your old man. Like, you're not even willing to look for 30 seconds and say, I don't know, something like random, like, hey, Dad, do you know when this was built? You know what I mean? They don't even care to do that.
They respect you way less than they respect like some rando adult they just met.
That's right.
Like if the conductor of the train had said, "Hey girls, I'm Stu. I'm your conductor. Why don't you take a look out the window?" They all would have done it.
Yeah.
And to make Stu happy, they would have said, "Wow, that was really nice." But me, now it's like, move on. Okay, here we go. Number one, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Your whole family this summer, suggestions, places to go. Would you and your family visit a lavender farm?
Oh, my goodness. No. Nope. Wife would maybe be interested. Me and the boys, no thank you.
I think my kids are young enough that I could probably do it. That's not something my wife would be into. I could probably get past it. I could probably do it.
It's for the picture, I guess.
I guess, and the smell.
Yeah.
And it looks nice. Okay.
And the
there you
lavender
go.
soap. Hello.
I'm good for 10 seconds on that one.
I can see Garbett actually liking that.
Yeah, I could. You're a flower guy, Johnny.
What? Lavender infused oils? Absolutely. Yeah, sign me up.
Threw out visit a lighthouse already. I've never heard of this as an activity. Chasing waterfalls, which I guess just means going around and seeing various waterfalls. Would that keep your family's attention for a day?
Are you allowed to go into the waterfall?
Apparently not, no. You
Okay.
look at them.
Then no. If we can go in it, I think the kids would have fun doing that, but not if you're just looking.
No,
at
no, kids, you can't go in
it.
it.
No.
But
Nope.
just look at it. No, kids, we can't get 400 feet from it. But from the side of the
road.
Yeah.
from the side of the road where there's more than likely like a chip truck there too, right?
Yep.
My kids aren't big starers.
They're not on that.
Not yet.
Here's one, and I think this was just put on this list to troll me. Go on a train tour. I can tell you that will not happen in our family again.
No.
Okay, popular with some people, incredibly unpopular with others. Go camping.
You know what? If I could do it where I'm off the ground, and if I could do it where it's like almost like I'm going for the weekend and things are kind of set up for me, like the gray water and the black water and all that, whatever all that stuff is, I would definitely do it, and my kids would love it. Yes,
Your wife?
Yeah, I think she would. I think she's from Cape Breton, right? So
Yeah.
she's kind of cool that way.
Johnny?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around what are you talking about?
The gray water, black water?
Yeah.
Like when you have when you have water pumped in so you can shower and use the bathroom. Like if you're using like a trailer, right?
So that's so not so
You get the good
so that's
water
not-
and you get the bad
That's
water.
not camping.
Yeah.
But anywho,
You want the good water.
my wife has told me, didn't tell me anything about when we got married about where we like to vacation together, anything like that. But she did tell me that she hates camping. It was like the second thing she told me, and there's no way it would fly.
Not into it, eh?
I am a zero chance of that happening in my family. We're not campers. No.
I'd like to go.
Do you picture?
I would. I'd
Yeah,
go
I'd
camping
go.
with you guys. Like
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
I don't even need your water.
Like making a fire, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's
cooking
fun
in the
stuff.
elements. That is fun.
Well, and one of the things that is quite clear from even this conversation is you as a parent are much happier doing absolutely nothing than doing something that your family doesn't want to do with you.
Oh, yeah.
You're so
Right? I'd rather sit at home and watch TV.
That's great advice.
Than, for instance, go on a tour of a mine.
I'm too scared. I feel like something's gonna go wrong. Someone's getting to get hurt. I got 3 very active boys. No, I'm not doing it.
And then it's all of a
Families.
sudden it's Chilean.
Yeah,
I almost,
exactly.
I almost feel like I'd even get shot down and made fun of for even bringing it up,
Yeah,
let alone
man.
actually taking them.
Yeah.
But even the idea popping into my head.
Like if you were to go home today and say, Johnny, Sarah,
Yeah.
I really think we should take a tour of an abandoned mine this summer. You don't think that's going to go over well?
No, I don't think so. And I think I'd be eating by myself tonight, my dinner.
A lookout
Nope. Stop it.
from a scenic spot. Okay, so and the setup would be, kids, we're going to drive 2 hours and 12 minutes, and then we're going to stand near a cliff and look out.
No,
And then we're going to turn around and drive home.
no, I don't think my kids would be into that. My
0.
wife wouldn't be into it. I wouldn't really be into it.
Like, God bless the people that actually do these things. Do none of them have kids?
Like that's just it. Like you know what the best part of most of these would be the drive. That part's kind of fun,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you have a little bit of a roadie, but you also have to have something cool that you're going to.
I agree. I feel like the scenic lookout is a byproduct of the trip.
Yes,
I'm
it's
not going to
the
a scenic
trip.
lookout. No, you're driving along. You're like scenic lookout 20 meters ahead. Okay, maybe I'll stop. But I'm not. That's not my destination.
Agreed.
That's not the end game.
Correct,
The lookout
correct.
is not the end game.
Yes. Like the reason that people would stop at south of the border on the trip to Florida is because you're going to Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not going to south of the border.
And
There's
you've
more
seen
south to go.
Yeah, you've seen the signs for 1,700 miles. So
Yep.
you say, what the hell, I'll do it. But nobody is getting in their car and driving to south of the border.
I'm going to buy a hammock, an ashtray, and a sombrero, and then go home. It doesn't make any sense.
Reach new heights by rock climbing.
Man,
Your kids would probably love that, Parksy.
they would absolutely love it because we just passed a indoor rock climbing thing, and my kids were asking, and I said, "Have you heard of COVID?" So they would be into it, Daddy, legs too stiff? No, no way. Too hard.
Oh, likey.
Too
I feel
hard.
like a child services call would be made if I was seen rock climbing with a 6-month-old. So I'm out. I'm out on that
I
one.
think that would be logistically difficult, John.
I just don't want to have to explain myself.
I'm going to tell you this one is probably the lowest on my family's totem pole when it comes to places we would visit. Strangely enough, none of my children are remotely interested in history. If it happened before they were born, they don't care. They couldn't care less. Like, it's as if the world started when they were born. And anything beyond that is, like, boring.
And it's got to suck for you because you love and know so much history.
I love history.
You love it.
So if I was to go home and say, girls, I'd like to go on a little trip where 2 or 3 days we will explore ruins. Like, because now you're talking like really ancient history.
Yeah.
Right? Like Fort York is recent compared to some of the. They're called ruins because they're essentially ruined.
Yep.
Right? There's not much there, and you have to use your imagination to say, well, that was the chapel building. I can see from the walls, and they just be, get this guy out of here.
You're like, look, on the side, there's a sketch of a cow or a running deer. They didn't even speak English when they were drawing this stuff. Now you're not interested. Okay.
No, that one is like zero chance
That's
of
tough
success.
Tough sell in the family.
How about if you told your kid you'd like to go see some of Ontario's geological wonders, rock formations and the like?
All right. Daddy is out, and I'm begging my kids to be out. I think as a father, I would undersell it. I would make it sound awful.
I feel like this is a niche trip. If for some reason one of my children was a rock freak, then I guess I would have to. But Ryan's point, I'm not making this known.
Yes.
Do you think your children would care if you said, hey, look, we're going to go to Pelee Island, the southernmost spot in Canada?
And you're like, believe it or not, we're south of Detroit.
Yeah.
And you know that one would come up.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know that one would come up.
Wife might go for the wine. They get some wine out there, right?
Yes, they do. They do.
I could see the Parkers grabbing a cheap motel, wife boozing it up.
How much would your children care that you are in Canada's southernmost point?
That's the old goose egg.
I don't know when in your life you start learning about direction and where you are, but they would have no idea what the frick is happening. They just know they're not at home and Netflix isn't around. Where are the Wiggles? I don't know. They're not in Point Pelee, I'll tell you that. I don't care if we're south of the state of California border. It doesn't matter.
You know, we've joked about the Kingston Pen Tour. And normally I would say zero chance. But we went to Philadelphia a couple of years ago, and we did one of those, like, open-top bus tours. And they go by, like, the Rocky Steps, right?
Yeah.
And there's the stuff you'd expect to see in Philadelphia, Independence Hall, that sort of thing. So the bus stops outside a place, it was almost a ruin, actually kind of is, called the Eastern State Penitentiary, which was a prison, which is now open for tours. And our middle daughter, Jessie, and I'm still stunned, said, can we look in there?
Really?
And I was like, oh, get off the bus, kids. Get off the bus. We're looking at a prison. And we look, and it's, so it was a very well-known prison. Part of the reason was Al Capone, in 1929, after the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, he needed to take the heat off, and he basically set himself up to be busted in Pennsylvania so he could get away from Chicago and have the protection of this prison, and that was the prison he stayed in. So you see, like, Al Capone's room, and it was a nicely appointed room, I will say. But I was shocked. That was the first time any of them had shown any interest. Now, the post-mortem, they kind of said, yeah, that was interesting. I don't know that they'd do it again.
Well, they took one for Dad.
I'd like to think so.
Do your other kids get upset when you tell one that they're your favorite? I always find that doesn't go over well in the house.
Hold on, you're not supposed to do that?
Supposedly it affects them later on in life, I read.
Hey, how can you not have a favorite? Of course, you're my favorite.
Oh, you want to go to prison? Let's go.
3 favorites right there. Okay, final one. This one, my God. I don't even think I'd get... wouldn't even dignify a response. See some fossils or petroglyphs.
No. Are petroglyphs like the fossilified poop? Because, like...
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
I think, aren't they... I'm going to look it up here, Johnny. Go on.
I'm not sure what that is. Either way, you could say, yeah, it is, or no, it's not. I'm still out.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything John can say that you're going to be like, oh, okay, then.
Okay.
No, I do not believe they are poo-related. They are rock carvings made by pecking directly on the rock surface using a stone chisel or a hammerstone. The little wall art.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, it's Karen. It is Karen, the name that is just dropped off even the longest list of baby names from 2020 and 2021. So back in 1965 was peak Karen. In the United States of America, in 1965, there were 33 girls named Karen born. They were born and then they were named Karen. 33,000. That's how many. There were 325 last year. So that means there were 325 people who said, damn the torpedoes. We're naming her Karen anyway.
It's coming back. It's going to make a comeback.
I wonder if that's
It's in a dip right now.
Yeah.
We're going to hit it. We're going
You're
to go
buying
through the valley.
You're buying the dip.
And then we're coming up the other side of the mountain.
Do you think some of those are like, it was a promise to a grandma or something?
Has to be, buddy.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was thinking. Your Aunt Karen was one of our favorite people.
Yeah.
And we promised her before she moved to Malaysia or California.
Or to heaven.
No, there too. We promised her that we would name our first girl after her. So you're Karen.
Doesn't it? It's got to suck if like that name was so normal and so great for so long. And, you mentioned Isis, and Katrina is another name that got shoved down the list after the hurricane. It's got to suck when you're just a really good Karen and you've been Karen for 40 years.
I can tell you my experience with Karens in life has been excellent.
Always.
I've never had a problem with a Karen.
No,
myself.
there's a lot of great Karens out there, and I'm willing to die on that hill.
Yes, sir.
Like, let's not paint all Karens with that brush.
In fact, I don't know a real Karen who is a Karen.
I'm, buddy.
Right?
Preach.
Always good.
Come on, I'm just going to sit
Hey.
here and you preach.
And one of our favorite characters was Karen. Karen. Did she screw up by dumping the drugs down the toilet?
Who doesn't make the odd mistake?
She was worried about her hubby. Now let me ask you guys a question. Admit it, because I have done it once. Since Karen has been a thing, would you say, last couple years, Karen is really, really ramped up being a Karen? Have you ever been a Karen? Because I one time asked for a manager. Have you
became, what was it? Terry, I think, became the male equivalent.
They did studies of names.
Yeah, Terry.
Some people say Ken because it's got that same Ken.
Yes,
Karen
yeah.
thing.
I don't think I went full-blown Karen, but I was definitely teetering on the Karen teeter-totter. I was definitely straddling that line.
Well, and you know that crossing the line is the moment you ask to speak to somebody in management.
Remember, mine was when I was buying a gift for Johnny Garbutt for his birthday, and I dropped my charger out of my pocket, and I accused a youngster of stealing it. He denied it, and I demanded to speak to the manager and look at security tape. Like, I went full Karen. To the point, and I'm not kidding, I haven't been back to that store. I'm so embarrassed. Because
Karen! I can see that.
I just dropped it.
Yeah.
Hey, you pull something like that, you're also saying to yourself during the whole thing, I know now I can never come back into this store.
Does it affect you, Karens? Like, do you ever think to yourself, like, I really would complain more, or I really would ask for a manager, but I don't want to be that Karen?
Yeah, who wants to be a Karen? I guess there are some people who wake up in the morning and say, I'm going Karen today. Sure. But yeah, no, I'm not interested. Because you know what we see? A lot of Karens end up on video. No, that's not, no, I'm going to say no to that.
It sucks because sometimes you have a legit problem, right? Like, sometimes you have a legit, kid racing too fast down your street. Or like where I live, there's all these kids on four-wheelers on the park and behind us. Like, I personally don't care. But what they're doing is technically wrong. So, but if you go and say something to them, you're the Karen.
Doesn't matter, buddy. It's a big brush. You just get the Karen brush. It doesn't matter. You get your face out of the way of that brush.
Does it matter how you handle the situation? Because if you're coming in hot, you're coming in hardcore Karen. But if you're coming in maybe a little bit nicer,
Relatable?
or more relatable, and you're not coming in as hot, maybe you can get things done that way.
I don't know. I think no matter what the tone, no matter what the situation, that we have decided as a society that the moment you ask to speak to management, that you get labeled as a Karen.
And truthfully, I understand what you're saying, Johnny, that you go in, let's say it's some teen, and you go to talk to them, and you try to be the cool guy. Guys, listen, I was your age once. Not a big deal. I get it. But can you, as soon as they say, all right, Karen, I blow my top. I see red, and that's it. I'm out for blood. Then I demand to talk to their parents.
Karen!
Has anyone actually called you Karen?
No, but that's my biggest scare. Like, when you see it online, right? It's always like, sometimes I'm looking at a woman going on about a kid. It was actually a kid speeding on the street, and I was on her side. And the guy's like, he's like, all right, Karen. And I'm like, no, but she's right.
You know what? We got to stand up in solidarity for all the good Karens out there. Talk about malign. We love you, Karens. We've had something of an uncomfortable relationship, the three of us, with nudity over our adult lives. Like,
I hate
as long as it's not us.
I hate it. Hate it.
You're talking about your own nudity, not that of others.
Like 95% my own, yes. But honestly, and a lot of other people sometimes too.
Little judgy. Okay.
Well, what you're about to talk about, I hate seeing pictures of this.
Okay,
it grosses me out.
This is something that is stuck in the craw of Johnny Garth Garbett for a number of years. We know he's a guy who stickles, right? Yesterday, we touched upon nudity whilst talking about the ancient Olympics on the podcast. And they did everything naked back then. You ran a marathon, you're going 26 miles, you're doing it in the buff. That's just the way they rolled back in ancient Greece. A lot of nudity going on back then. So that was on yesterday's podcast. Now, today we get the story, the confirmation that one of your most dreaded events of the year, Johnny Garth, is coming back to Toronto, and I have a technical question for you.
Okay.
Headline, the World Naked Bike Ride is returning to Toronto this month. Your issue is that they call it the World Naked Bike Ride, but you don't have to be naked.
Yeah, you can wear bike shorts and no shirt. You could wear a tank top but no pants. It's really up to you, and then therefore it's not really World Naked Bike Ride Day, to the point where they say it's going to happen in the streets of Toronto. The dress code is only as bare as you dare. Well, no, the dress code is naked. That's the dress code, because that's the name of your event. It's not as bare as you dare. If you dare, then bear it all. Okay, that's the dress code.
Okay, so here's my question to you,
sir.
Specifically around this year's event. You go and you're going to go naked. You're going to ride your bike and you're going to do it in the nude. However, they say you do have to wear a mask. Is wearing a mask going to negate the nudity?
This is hard for me, because yes, it does. If you're wearing a mask, you're not completely naked, are you? But it's a pandemic, and I kind of get it. I understand wearing a mask during a World Naked Bike Ride event more than I do, I don't know, knee-high socks. Okay? I get that, because it's in a pandemic and there's, rules and stuff. So I get that. But I don't understand rollerblading at the World Naked Bike Ride event. That's what I don't get either. Either change the name or stick to your guns.
So, okay. So would you say the mask is the same thing as you have no problems with the helmet? And I mean the ones on top of a head?
Yes.
Like, same
safety.
thing. It's safety
Yes,
reasons?
I believe that's law.
Okay. Would you be cool with them changing this to the as bare as you dare bike ride?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No, but I don't think he would, because it would still be called the Bear As You Dare Bike Ride. It should be the Bear As You Dare, I don't know.
Event?
Yeah.
That's it, because you can skateboard, you can rollerblade, you can scooter, you can ride your bike, you can do a cartwheel down the road, whatever you want to do. It's basically just an event just to promote, I don't know, being naked and fossil fuel stuff.
How is it comfortable?
Oh, it's not.
And I'll tell you, if you want to listen to something, listen to yesterday's podcast, because we were talking about, ancient Greece, and we were talking about different events that don't happen anymore, including the tandem bicycle. And I was asking if would you two be naked on a tandem bicycle?
Yeah, you're talking about some strong logistical issues
Yes.
Yes.
there. Yeah,
we break it
prohibitive.
down
I'm going to
pretty-
say to the point where I'm definitely not the guy riding on the back.
We'll just say this. We just said it's a lot easier if it's just a flat surface. Because with hills, you
Going
gotta
up hills, it's not good for the back person.
stay on that seat.
We live by the better late than never principle, I would say, around here. Hey, okay, I didn't do it on time, but I got it done.
Okay, you always get your homework done.
Sure. Like, who hasn't returned something to a library 48 years later?
Made it happen.
Guy in 1973 took out a self-portrait, the Bob Dylan album, and he just returned it with $175, which I guess was his way of covering the overage on the library rental. And he also gave them some of his own recorded music. Guy turned out to be a musician. So, what they say about Dylan and the Velvet Underground and bands like that, many of the people who bought them went on to become musicians themselves, particularly with the Velvet Underground. But Bob Dylan, too.
That's where this story loses me. We
Where's
didn't
that?
ask for your album.
Thank you.
No one knows who you are.
Thank
You know what?
you.
You know what you're not? You know what you're not?
Bob Dylan.
You're not signed. Nobody wants your cutesy little angle to get your album out there. Hey, I got an album from 50 years ago. I'll give him $175 and let me throw this in there.
You are so cynical. I thought that was so nice that he was spreading his musical love to the world.
I thought it was extremely pompous. Hey, I think so much of myself that you are so going to want this.
Hold on a second. This guy grew up in Cleveland. Johnny, I know one of your favorite towns. He now lives in San Francisco. He traveled to Cleveland to give them their album back.
Okay.
Now, you're right. Now that you say it, okay.
Listen.
They probably didn't request, hey, by the way, if you have any music you've made, we'd love to
Sure.
hear that too.
I want the library to be like to light that record on fire.
Yeah.
Like, you got to take a stand here, right? We don't want this. Because I have a feeling this guy printed like 50 albums, sold them to friends and family, and then had a few left over. And is like, I know what I'll do. I'll throw this in here. Maybe they'll give it a spin. Nobody wants it. They want their Dylan and they want their money.
Yes, they do.
End of story.
Probably a long line of people who would have requested the Dylan album, too, from 1973. Do you go back to the first person in line and try and get in touch with them?
Give them a call now. Oh,
Yeah.
it's back. It's back.
Remember that album that you wanted to get from the library in 1973? Turns out we now have it.
And we have a bonus album from some random dude. You know what sucks? I bought a barbecue a couple years ago, and we had it on our then deck. Somehow, like, I don't know what it is with acting in the wind. Believe it or not, the wind knocked my barbecue off my deck. We can't.
I don't believe you.
No, I don't know.
I'm
No,
telling you right
no,
now.
no,
Okay.
no.
Who? Did
No.
Arthur do it?
Okay, are you
Was
ready?
it made of plastic? No.
Are you
Yeah.
ready for this
No.
one?
No.
You guys know I
I'm
love
not
to say it.
listening.
Easy,
No,
Dougie
no,
Ford.
No,
Nope.
not listening.
I'm saying it.
I'm
saying
it.
I swear on my children's eyes.
No, you don't.
I do.
No,
Go
you
ahead.
take that back.
I don't.
You're talking about your kids' eyes. This
Fact.
is a lie. I'm telling you right now, and Johnny's with me.
Yeah.
In
Right
fact,
on.
I'll
It's a
go even
lie.
further.
No.
I'll go even further. It happened twice.
Oh, you don't.
Okay,
No, it
Acton,
didn't.
step up and represent. It is a frickin' wind tunnel
Okay.
up in Halton Hills.
All right.
And I had a brand new barbecue, and it broke.
I don't think the wind would move a hibachi
So you're telling me
unless it's 200 miles an hour.
the wind in Acton
Yes.
is so great.
Okay, I'll tell you
That
right
it
now.
blew, stop for a sec, that it blew
Yes.
a very heavy metal barbecue
Yes.
off of your deck.
Yes.
And then threw it.
I'll go even further. Yes. It
you're
went
s-
down 2 stairs, and it wasn't like I put it like against the stairs. It was against part of the house, the way the house jets out.
There's no
My friend Mark Gatto just texted my personal phone, who lives in Georgetown. He said it happened to him too because it's on wheels. Fact. 107-777. Have you ever lost a barbecue because of wind? I'm telling you, it happened.
So the wheels clearly were also facing in the proper direction for this to be a perfect scientific experiment.
I admit.
And also, every barbecue I have ever purchased
Yes.
that has wheels
locks?
also has locks.
Like, okay, I admit I might not have had the wheels locked in. I'm telling you right now, I lost a barbecue, and I was so mad because guys, you know I don't like to talk about money. This thing was a solid 500 piece. Okay, treated myself when we moved to Acton to a brand new barbecue, and the first time I kind of pieced it back together. The second time, barbecue ruined.
What was it made of? Bamboo?
No, I'm telling you, it was legit.
Did you put it together?
My wife did.
Okay. If you put it together, then I kind of believe it.
I'm telling you right now, the wind is insane, and the wind can... I'm going to Google, can a wind move a barbecue?
Google it.
Okay, you do that.
Text, please. I need support.
Okay, so there are two elements to this. This is Parker and his barbecue, and he says it's been blown over a couple of times now by the wind. Now, first of all, before the barbecue itself, you seem to believe that Acton is wind-specific in Ontario, that Acton has problems with the wind that nowhere else has. Like, the wind will be 92 kilometers an hour in Acton, and in Georgetown, it's 3.
I'm telling you right now, it's something about living in the hills. Like, I mean, you see a difference in snow. Like, you should see the difference between Milton and Acton when it comes to snow. It's a different weather system in Acton.
So you're saying that Acton is like the Bermuda Triangle for wind.
I'm telling you right now. So
was your moving to Acton court ordered then?
Listen, it's just you can't have everything in this world, right? And Acton's got so many great things. Hospitals, no. Wind, yes. Rob said it's true. He went to the old Hyde House. He said 6'4", 325 pounds, almost got blown to the ground.
Okay. Here's
no problem standing up in Oakville half an hour beforehand. But now you're going down. You're in Acton.
I'm telling you, boys, the texts are coming in. Are a lot of people saying that I'm full of it? Absolutely. But I'll tell you, I'm like, I don't even get mad. I'm like Gandhi because I got the truth on my side.
But you are getting a ton more support on text than I thought you would. 107-777. Look, we often go by our own experience. I had never heard of this before today, outside of like a weather event.
Yep.
When you're just a couple of kilometers an hour shy of a hurricane. I get that. When it's insane and it's a horrible storm. But you're just talking about everyday wind here. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of wind, and we happen to live on a street that is a bit of a wind tunnel. Mm-hmm. Our barbecue has not moved an inch. Mm-hmm. It has not moved an inch since last summer.
You know what wind does? Blows over potted plants. That's what wind does. Wind may move a patio chair. That's what wind does. If you have your barbecue thrown 20 feet into a pool because of wind, that's not a wind. Okay, that's a gale, a small hurricane. You have survived a natural disaster. Stop, Rye. The wind did not do that. Okay. The wind doesn't do those things. Gales do.
I'm telling you, my buddy Tom, okay, he's a freaking firefighter. Just texted my own phone and said, bro, 100-pound table, glass table, smashed to pieces because of the wind.
It's not wind.
He lives in Acton.
It's not wind.
All right, I got more.
It's not wind. You can say whatever you want. That's not wind.
My high-end stainless steel Broil King blew off my deck in Whitby with the wheels locked. It was natural gas and hanging by a hose. All I do is thank the Lord above that everyone was safe.
So you're telling me the wind can blow this barbecue over a railing fence but can't break the natural gas line?
As another text, as an engineer, I believe you. The wind can move a barbecue. Now, how you let it happen a second time, that's on me. And I'll tell you, I honestly thought the reason why it happened was I didn't have the wheels locked. So I put her back up. She was dented, but she was still working. I locked the wheels. Within a month, it happened again and completely broke up the barbecue. I am not kidding you. The wind is treacherous. Everywhere, but specifically Acton, and it blew off my barbecue twice.
Not wind.
It was wind, because if it was something more than wind, it would make the news. It'd make the local Independent. Right? That Acton had a gale.
Okay, is that just because of where you're located, or is there like a Damien the Omen vibe going on here? Is Acton cursed?
I'm telling you, there is the wind in Acton is something fierce, my man. Honestly, it's not everyone is fit for it.
Only the strong survive. Acton, Ontario.
Wasn't long enough? We've heard that before. Listen to Derringer in the Morning, weekday 6 to 10 on Q107.